The NFC and the AFC Championship game wrapped up over the weekend with one kind of a bad game and a really good one. Shedeur Sanders is the newest member of the Pro Bowl and MLB The Show announced some big news regarding who the cover athlete of MLB The Show 26 will be. My name is Caleb Perez, and welcome back to the Caleb Perez Show. Haven't uploaded in a while. Last week I got a little busy. Things happen. Fun things, don't worry. But we're back. Um, Championship games wrapped up over the weekend in the NFL and the AFC and the NFC Championship game, so I'm going to talk about that first. Then we'll get into the news, talking about Shedeur Sanders officially being announced in the Pro Bowl, or being another reason why the Pro Bowl is an absolute joke. And MLB The Show announced some big news about the cover athlete, that it's not going to be a new cover athlete. So I'm going to call over that and my new predictions now for who I think we could see in the cover for MLB The Show 26. Which is coming out in a few, I think, months now. So that's fun. But yeah, let's go to the championship games. First of all, New England and Denver Patriots beat the Broncos 10-7 in Mile High to send the Patriots back to their first Super Bowl since 2018, their first without Brady or Belichick. It was a sloppy game, definitely start to finish. Not the cleanest football game ever. Obviously, you could tell how much Denver's offense misses Bo Nix, and the fact he was out for the game with his broken ankle one that he suffered at the end of last game. But Broncos defense played their hearts and soul out. Just simply put, Broncos offense just could not get the ball moving forward much, if at all. Not saying that the Patriots offense could either, because the Patriots offense looked worse. Quite frankly, if Bo Nix would have been healthy, Denver would have crushed him. But because he wasn't, Patriots were able to win. Uh, Drake May was 10 for 21 with 86 passing yards. I think that's all you need to know about how bad of a game this was. Many people on Twitter are considering this to be the worst AFC Championship game of all time, and quite frankly, I agree, because this game was terrible. Start to finish, it was not a fun watch. I spent more of the time playing Madden, having more fun playing Madden than I did watching the AFC Championship game. So, yeah, that happened. But, yep, Patriots, they go back to the Super Bowl for the first time since 2018. Again, it's their first Super Bowl without Brady or Belichick involved in the team. So congratulations to the Patriots, and unfortunately, the evil empire might be back. The empire fell, so the first order can rise. In this case, the Brady and Belichick era came to an end, so the Vrabel and May era could begin. But yeah, Denver should not feel ashamed. They had a great season. I don't think anybody could have predicted the Broncos playing the great football that they did this year. Just simply put, they ran out of gas. No, whether that's because they ran out of gas playing so hard in the last game or because Bo Nix got hurt, debatable, up to you. But either way, Broncos just ran out of gas and the Patriots took advantage of it. So moving on to the next game, the Seahawks and the Rams. The Seattle Seahawks took down the LA Rams 31-27. This game was really good. A lot of great football in this game. Matthew Stafford was 22 for 35 with 374 yards in the air with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. Great games from Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Nacua had 169 yards on 9 receptions and a touchdown. Devontae Adams had 89 yards on 4 receptions and a touchdown as well. Kyron Williams had a rushing touchdown as well. This was the opposite of last game. This game was a lot of offense. It's not a whole lot of defense. And you see that as well on the Seattle side. Sam Darnold played the best game of his career, in my opinion. 25 for 36 with 346 yards and 3 touchdowns in the air. Winning game by Jackson Smith and Jigba as well. 10 receptions for 153 and a touchdown, including a long of, I believe, 42 yards. Yep, 42-yard pass. Kenneth Walker was great on the ground. This is a big question I had about Seattle going into this game, was how well were they going to handle the game? How well were they going to play without Charbonnet? Because obviously, while Kenneth Walker has been a great running back all around, Charbonnet was such a good threat in the red zone. He would always gain a lot of yardage and score a lot of touchdowns in the red zone this season. I was interested to see how well they would do without Charbonnet this week, and they did pretty well. Kenneth Walker played a really good game, proving like he's one of the more underrated running backs in the NFL, in my opinion. But yeah, the biggest question about Seattle was how well they were going to be without Charbonnet, and they handled it just fine. And yeah, because of it, Seattle goes to their first Super Bowl since Super Bowl 49, ironically, that Super Bowl is against the Patriots, who are they going to play in this Super Bowl, Super Bowl 60. So, an 11-year gap in between Super Bowl appearances for Seattle. But they are back, and they can take on the Patriots and get redemption, what could be getting redemption, for their loss in the Super Bowl 11 years ago and the way that game ended. But yeah, NFC and the AFC Championship game are done. We have 2 football games, really, if you want to count the Pro Bowl as a game. We got Pro Bowl weekend next weekend, and then we have the Super Bowl the weekend after. Obviously, this coming weekend is the Royal Rumble for WWE and the UFC second pay-per-view of the year. So that's what I'm looking forward to after the UFC had a great weekend this weekend. I guess I'll talk about UFC too while I'm at it, but let me get to the other news first. So obviously, the next thing I want to talk about, I don't really have a lot to say about this one. Because he's coming in as a replacement, Shedeur Sanders is officially making his first ever Pro Bowl. A 5th-round pick has now become a Pro Bowler, and it's Shedeur Sanders. Despite the fact that Shedeur Sanders had more interceptions than he had touchdowns on the season, he finds himself in the Pro Bowl. This is mainly due to the voting. I'm pretty sure the Pro Bowl is a fan vote, and lots of people wanted Shedeur Sanders to make it into the Pro Bowl, just because it's the same as Shedeur Sanders, basically. But yeah, the creators of Tyler Huntley, the Pro Bowler, now brings us to Shedeur Sanders, the Pro Bowler, which is absolutely incredible. For the wrong reasons. The Pro Bowl's a joke. There's a reason nobody watches the Pro Bowl anymore. It's because it sucks. Like, Shedeur Sanders did not have a good season at all. As a Browns fan, I can say Shedeur Sanders sucked this year. He did not play well at all. And now here he is in the Pro Bowl. So, yeah, the Pro Bowl sucks. Nobody watches the Pro Bowl. I'm not watching the Pro Bowl, that's for sure. But, yeah, Shedeur Sanders posted a total QBR of 19 this season, which will be the second worst in NFL history with at least 210 attempts. First on the list with Jimmy Clausen, who got only that one season in the NFL. But yeah. Moral of the story, the Pro Bowl's a joke. And the fact that Shedeur Sanders, who did not have a good season at all, is making the Pro Bowl just goes to show how much of a disaster it is that he's in the Pro Bowl, which is ridiculous. Moving on to some other interesting news. This one is in the video game landscape, and I usually haven't talked about video games too much. I know I have videos talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, but those are about movies. The movies. This one has to do with MLB the Show 26. MLB the Show posted on their social medias today an immediate release of the MLB the Show 26 will not be having a new cover athlete. Now, this is breaking news, came out 2 hours ago. MLB The Show 26, Major League Baseball's video game franchise by San Diego Studios, will not have a new cover athlete this year, which is interesting. Because every year, I think fans, one of the most things to look forward to about MLB The Show, me included, is the cover athlete reveal. And now this year, we're not going to have one, apparently. Or at least a new one. Now, this is an interesting one because I feel like this is cryptically worded. The fact they said new cover athlete makes me wonder if they're not putting on a first-time cover athlete, or rather a guy who's been the cover before. So that being said, who could it be? Well, the World Baseball Classic is just around the corner. The World Baseball Classic doesn't happen every year. I believe every 3 or 4 years is when we get the WBC. Maybe we'll see the MLB The Show go all in on a WBC edition, and that we could see Ohtani and Judge be on the cover because they're both in the World Baseball Classic this year. Maybe Skeens as well. At least those are my big predictions. Maybe it'll be some other guy. Maybe it'll be another Griffey cover. That's based on my initial reaction. Now, obviously, this just came out. I haven't had a whole lot of time to process this just yet. I imagine the fan community of MLB The Show is going to be talking about all the theories, all the what could be's for weeks now until they give us the official cover release. for the game, regardless of whether I have a new athlete or not. But if there is going to be a cover athlete, which there should be, I'm expecting it to be Otani or Judge, because you cannot tell the story of modern baseball without mentioning those two men. Obviously, they're both going to be playing each other in the World Baseball Classic this year, so that's going to be fun. But I think a World Baseball Classic edition with Shohei and Judge as a cover would be really cool. So if you have any other thoughts, let me know in the comments. I look forward to seeing what the comments are going to be every week. Moving on, and this is really the last thing I want to talk about before I log off for the day. Obviously, over the weekend, UFC 324 took place. UFC's first event on Paramount Plus, and it was an absolute heater. I'm talking some amazing fights. We had 3 buzzer beater knockouts in the prelims. Knockouts that occurred with just in which the referee waved off the fight with a second left in the round. So that was good. The main card itself was really good as well. Jen Silver and Arnold Allen had a really good fight. Rose Namajunas and Natalia Silva had a really good fight, although I firmly believe Rose Namajunas won that fight. Personally, in my opinion. If you have other views, you can say so, but in my opinion, I thought Rose won the fight. Waldo Cortez Acosta knocked out Derek Lewis. I have no idea how that happened. Derek missed a punch, fell on his ass, and then just basically gave up afterwards. That was kind of interesting to see that. Whatever. Sean O'Malley got back into the win column. A unanimous decision victory over Song Yadong, which will easily put Sean O'Malley's name somewhat back into the title mix. Now, with the story of the Bantamweight title right now, I do think they'll give Merab the immediate rematch, purely because of the fact that he lost the belt. It was his 4th title defense of the year. Now, no disrespect to Petr Yan. I think Petr Yan is by far one of the best bantamweights in the world and one of the best bantamweights of all time. With that being said, Petr Yan was very refreshed and ready to go into that fight. Merab's last fight before that was only 2 months ago, and that was his title defense in that fight with his 4th defense of the year. There's a reason nobody in the UFC has ever done that. It's because it's ridiculously hard. So I do see, as far as the bantamweight title scene goes, Merab's going to get the immediate rematch. And then after that, I think that's when we would see O'Malley face the winner of that rematch. If it's Petr Yan, if Merab wins that fight, I could absolutely see Petr Yan and Merab having a trilogy fight after that. But if Petr Yan does retain the belt against Merab in the rematch, then we would most likely see the second fight between Petr Yan and Sean O'Malley. They fought a few years ago in Saudi Arabia, and O'Malley won in a split decision. A very close fight that a lot of people thought that Petr Yan had actually won. So that would be a really interesting fight, purely because I would love to see who would win in that rematch, especially knowing how the first fight ended and who won that fight and how they won it. But that's what the bantamweight title scene looks like right now. And then obviously Waldo Cortez Acosta with that one over Derek Lewis could be putting himself into the title scene. As well, Natalia Silva could be looking to get into the title scene in women's flyweight. And then Jen Silva continues to climb up the ranks at 170. I believe 170. No, 145. Sorry. I don't know why I thought 170. And then obviously we get to our main event. Fight of the year. That was an absolute dogfight between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett. 2 guys who went into that ring saying, we're not going to wrestle too much. We're going to keep this on the feet as much as we can. And we're just going to go in there. We're going to throw fucking haymakers at each other. And that's what happened. I am surprised that Justin Gaethje did not knock out Paddy Pimblett. The fact that Paddy Pimblett took so many shots after shot after shot and still got back up and still threw stuff at Gaethje. Paddy hurt Gaethje a lot in this fight. I mean, people are going to look at the fight, look at how beat up Gaethje compared to Paddy was, and people are going to say, well, Gaethje must have killed this guy. That's not the case. I mean, sure, Gaethje, in my opinion, won convincingly. Paddy put up one hell of a fight. And even after taking all those punches, he still got back up, and he still put the pressure on Justin Gaethje. Despite the fact his corner wanted him to wrestle a bit more, he said, screw that. I'm in the box with this guy. People did not come this fight for it to be a grappling war, people wanted us to punch each other, and that's what happened. Yeah, Justin Gaethje wins. He is the interim lightweight champion, and Dana White basically already confirmed that Gaethje's next fight will most likely be Topuria when Ilya Topuria settles his personal issues out of the ring. But yeah, what an absolutely amazing card. What a great way to start the year. We get another numbered event this weekend too, with Volkanovski taking on Diego Lopez. That card looks really good as well. And I believe Dan Hooker fights Benoit Saint-Denis in the co-main event, so that's going to be a fun one to watch as well. Yeah, that's UFC this weekend. Congratulations to Justin Gaethje and all the winners of the weekend, and huge ups to Paddy Pimblett for putting on an absolute war. I gain a lot of respect for Paddy, and I do believe Paddy will be a champion one day. Just not today. It's not his time yet, but he'll get to the top. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. Um, I'll try to make some more news coming out over the week. Obviously, I will actually make a prediction video for the Royal Rumble and one for UFC. I won't fuck it up this time. But yeah, that's gonna do it. So peace out, y'all.